Well, this is the story. The bill with the 10% required cuts in contracts came 3 years ago. Last year we changed it to Lario's liking to get it passed, to where they raised to 10%. They just said any contract worth $40,000 or more would have to be reviewed. So it's kind of a bit of a transparency bill, which is good, and it was a victory for us. And we swindled him into signing the bill, and so we got it signed. But I want to come back this year and put some teeth in it and require the cuts, because if we don't require it of the governor, regardless who's the governor, they're not going to do it, Moon. And that's the whole intention of the bill. And so why some of these Democrats did not support it when they voted for it last time, I can't understand.
Well, no, I read in one of the papers, it may have been Jim Beam's article. Sam Jones got up and just pounded on the bill and pounded on John Kennedy when I think Sam voted for it.
Reality, I think it was a retaliation for me not supporting their pick to Speaker of the House, and I'll say that in public. Because Sam Jones supported this bill for 4 years in a row. And for him to get up there and make a rant raid about John Kennedy, and he pretty much insulted me by saying this really wasn't my bill, which is crazy. I've been pushing this bill for 5 years, as you know, Moon. And I'm the only one that's talking about spending cuts in public on the radio. Now I'm finally we've spent 3 hours talking about contracts last night in the House, which is great. It's a good change. I think most Republicans believe we need to cut some contracts. But that bill passed unanimously 2 years in a row, and it fell on deaf ears last night. It didn't lose, but we didn't have 53 votes. It was 49 to 46, and 5 Republicans did not vote, were absent. And so I'm going to bring it back in regular session. I'm not bringing it back today as it's scheduled. I'm waiting for regular session. And I got about 200 contracts, Moon, I'm going to target, and I'm going to bring to the floor, and we're going to discuss them. We'll vote on them in committee.
I'll go back and look. What House bill number was it?
It was 96.
I just want to look at the votes.
It failed by 49, 46 votes. I needed 4 more votes. But that's okay. I'm not bringing it today. I'm going to wait for regular session when I can put some teeth in it.
5 Republicans not go vote. You had 5 Republicans take a walk.
They were out the chamber, whatever they were at. They didn't vote. And they probably would vote for it, but I'm going to wait and bring it back in regular session. It's going to be a better bill. Not that that's bad, but we're gonna put our money where our mouth is, and we're gonna bring the contract to the House floor.
Representative Dee Richard, my special guest. Now, Dee, I'm trying to figure out something. What's in all those contracts that is taking you 5 years? You did get a small consolation last year, but it's taking you 5 years. Now, listen, 5 or 6 years, and they're not willing to go look at all these $21 billion worth of contracts. Yeah. That tells me they don't want people to know what's in those contracts. That's the patriot.
See, they don't want to waste the time. I got to believe it's a little of both. But I think the best way to do it is I'm going to target 20% of the bills, and I'm going to bring them to Dow Papera, who's a legislative auditor, and he's going to determine whether they're worth their grain of salt, and it's going to go to our committee to look at it, and then we're going to get it passed or failed, and that money we'll recoup that money easy. But I'm telling you, Moon, we can save $500 million easy if we look at these contracts, and maybe more.
So you think $500 million
or
more per year?
On deaf ears. This is money we ought to be saving before we're looking at spending, raising taxes on people, and it's wrong.
But it's amazing, too, how Sam Jones, the governor Edwards, co-governor Jay Norton, Jim Beam, Pearson Cross, who's a brainiac, ain't got a lick of sense. All these people in the press go after Kennedy as being the bad guy, and yet those same people who get the vote, they've been voting in the legislature for the last 8, 12, 20, 30 years, in Lario's case since 1972, and yet they don't target them. But as soon as a messenger comes out, it becomes messenger season. Let's shoot the messenger. Let's don't go after the people that made the bad decisions. Let's shoot the messenger. So now in Louisiana, we like to hunt. Now we got messenger season. They're trying to hunt. They're trying to shoot the messenger.
And so that's where it's at. But they're going to expect me to vote for some of these tax increases, and I can't do that in my right mind as a conservative without cutting costs, and we're not cutting spending at all.
Yeah, but that was my next question to you. Do you really think there's going to be some spending cuts? Because one of the things that I noticed...
I don't see them. I don't. And so I was told in committee that Jay Darden was going to look at the contracts. I don't want anybody to look at it but the legislature to make them happen. Because if we can leave it up to the governor... And look, it's not just a Democratic governor. I brought this bill 5 years under Bobby Jindal. He did nothing for it. Nothing to support the bill. So it doesn't matter who's governor. I think the legislature needs to look at these contracts and make a decision to, once and for all, if they're good or bad, and save some money. And it's up to us to do it. We can't expect John Kennedy to bring these bills because he can't legislate. We have to do it, and we can't wait on the governor.
They go after Kennedy, who has no vote in the legislature, and make him look like he's the bad guy. And Beam,
exactly.
Jim Beam.
Jim Beam's been
covering this for 55 years. He was always one of my favorite, and now I fell out with him because he's become one of the most liberal journalists, pro-tax, pro-government guy. He loves Jay Darden. Anybody that loves Jay Darden, I got a problem with. And yet, that's what he continues to do. I mean, this guy he needs to retire. He's been around too long. He's drank the bad Kool-Aid, and he continues to drink the bad Kool-Aid. And Kennedy's not the problem here. Kennedy's not the problem.
Right, exactly. Kennedy's not the problem. Kennedy's the only one that knows all these contracts. He's the only one that's seen them all, besides the legislative auditor. And I brought a stack of the contracts to the podium, to the well, to show the body. And I named two of them, one worth $50 million, one worth $30 million, just to name two, Moon, that I thought were wasteful contracts, and it fell on deaf ears. And that body voted unanimous for that bill the last 2 years. So that tells me that a different governor is not making a difference on these contracts.
No, this is the other thing about it. And I know John has credibility. You have credibility on this thing, and I know I do because I've been talking about General since he first got in there. And yet now this messenger season, let's shoot the messengers. Let's don't worry about the truth. We're not worried about the truth here. We just Republicans that want to go after a Democrat. Kennedy just wants to run for Senate. Yeah, he does. He does want to run for Senate. That is a true story. John Kennedy's running for the Senate.
But that has nothing to do with this bill. You're correct, Moon. Look, Kennedy brought this matter up in the Streamlining Commission in 2009. That's where I got it from. But this is nothing new. We've been fighting this every year, and for them to throw Kennedy into the bus like they did in the well of the floor last night was wrong.
But not surprising.
No, not surprising. But I think it's retaliation against me because I didn't support their candidate for Speaker of the House, and I don't mind saying that. That's the truth.
Yeah. All right, got to go. Dee Richard, independent,
Appreciate it,
by the way,
Thank you for your
out of
time.
the Thibodaux area. Representative Dee Richard, an independent, I'm ahead.